From a pedestrian standpoint and from a driver standpoint, it's important to just keep a lot of things in mind as we head towards the Halloween time. And, we have that coming up. And I like to think of Halloween as the gateway to our holiday season, because we have Halloween, then we have Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. And these are just great tips to think about all year, but most importantly, when we have Halloween and more people get out there into our streets and walk around and enjoy our neighborhoods. So, with that in mind, one of the things we want to remind everybody is Halloween is super fun once you get out there and you start trick-or-treating. But in the rush to get there, we want everybody to just think safety first, right? And especially for our parents and our ohana and our keiki. We want everybody to just remember to be safe and be seen. And couple things, when you're walking around your neighborhoods and going about your trick-or-treating, be really careful about walking around parked cars, because parked cars can move at any time. And just assume that people can't see you. When you cross streets at intersections, and make sure to try to always cross at intersections when you can, because that's when other drivers will expect to see you crossing the street. This is the one time a year where I think it's okay to make that eye contact with cars. I think Hawaii style, we don't like to call people out by hey, I see you, that kind of thing. But in this case, it's very important to make eye contact with, when you're walking, with the people who are driving, so that you know that they've seen you. So with that in mind, please, 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 it's super fun, but please keep safety front of mind for your ohana, for your community. And, history has shown that all the roads on Halloween evening are always heavily congested, and we just want to strive to have a Halloween that's more memorable for the treats instead of the tricks. And I'm going to hand off to Major Slater from our Honolulu Police Department. They're a great partner in keeping our roads safe and the driving safe on our streets.
Can we still see her? You good? All right. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Major James Slater with the Honolulu Police Department's Traffic Division. Obviously, you see some very creative costumes behind me and some of our children who are very excited for Halloween. That's very important for us to talk about that, because we know with the excitement, sometimes they're not going to be looking out for vehicles. So it's important for us as drivers to be looking out for them. So just to get a little temperature check, are you guys excited for trick-or-treating? Yeah! See, I told you. I knew it. So just as a reminder, as a driver, it's very important for us to take a little extra time, a little more precaution while we're out on the roadways, especially during Halloween. Not just our children, but our adults are having a good time. There's a lot of festivities out there. So it's important we just follow 3 basic rules, which should keep us out of a lot of the trouble. Number 1, as a driver, make sure that you are obeying all traffic laws. That includes speeding. Every time you speed, you are reducing your ability to avoid a hazard, because you're not going to have enough reaction time. Okay, number 2, we never ever want to get behind the wheel while we're impaired. In today's day and age, we have ride shares, Uber, Lyft, so many ways of public transportation. Find another way to get to your destination safely, because again, that impairment is going to keep you from being able to operate your vehicle safely. And finally, don't be distracted, especially this time of year. Everybody's in a rush. You're trying to get to where you want to get to, but just remember, these children are out there having a good time. They're having fun. Problem, I don't have this problem all the time. There we go. There we go. So we know that for the children, they're having a really good time. They're out there. They're excited. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that we as drivers are taking that extra precaution, focusing on the road, scanning the road ahead of us, expecting the unexpected, right? Children are going to be maybe darting across the street. And as much as parents were trying to keep them from doing that, it may happen. You just paying attention could avoid that disaster from happening. Right, so again, please, everybody, if they could just take a little extra precaution this time. Honolulu Police Department will be out in force on Halloween night. We'll be all over the island setting up sobriety checkpoints, saturation patrols, just trying to keep everybody safe and making sure they get home safely. Okay, thank you. Mayor?
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate the presence of HPD here and what you had to say, Major. Thank you. And John, you as well. Look, the start of the holiday season. It's a joyous time of the year. We want to make sure it stays that way. And I realize that Halloween is for all ages, as evidenced by all the adults that I know who get dressed up every year. And that's only because they had so much fun when they were kids. So for me, of all the holidays, this one really kicks it off for our keiki. And so with that said, I'm going to read a proclamation in the spirit of this Halloween. And it goes like this: whereas with more of our keiki preparing to dress up in fun and spooky costumes to trick or treat this Halloween, it is increasingly important to be safe and be seen on Halloween. And whereas the City and County of Honolulu's Department of Transportation Services and Honolulu Police Department, in collaboration with the State of Hawaii's Department of Education and Department of Transportation, have set aside this October 31st as Be Safe, Be Seen Halloween Pedestrian Safety Day to raise awareness and reinforce the message that pedestrian safety is a shared responsibility. And whereas the number one reason for pedestrian accidents is inattentive behavior on both the part of the pedestrian and the driver, and the majority of pedestrian accidents occur during the early morning or nighttime hours when visibility is low. And whereas the Walk Wise Hawaii program is a public education campaign focusing on pedestrian safety and driver awareness of pedestrians, and is sponsored by the HDOT Safe Communities program with funding from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Walk Wise Hawaii and Keiki Pedestrian Safety Week remind us that all of Oahu's road users should always be vigilant of others by following traffic laws, checking blind spots, and yielding to pedestrians, especially younger pedestrians that may be dressed in Halloween costumes that could affect their vision. And whereas Walk Wise Hawaii has put together Be Safe and Be Seen on Halloween interactive safety tip and activity books for elementary age children, which gets distributed at Oahu schools, and whereas safety tips include holding a flashlight while trick-or-treating, always standing back a step from the curb, lowering electronic devices and keeping your head up, walking rather than running, and remaining alert when walking past driveways to make sure cars are not pulling out. And whereas Walk Wise Hawaii is proud to partner with the City and County of Honolulu to educate the public on good pedestrian behavior and driver awareness of pedestrians, especially our Keiki pedestrians, this Halloween. Now, therefore, I, Rick Blangiardi, Mayor of the City and County of Honolulu, do hereby proclaim October 27th to November 2nd, 2024, to be Keiki Pedestrian Safety Week for the health and safety of all our keiki dressed in their ghost, superhero, and other character costumes this Halloween. Thank you. And who do I present this to? That'll be you. Yeah. You're not in costume.
No, dressed as City Works. Thank you. Aloha, I'm Dustin Malama. I am the Pedestrian Safety Coordinator for the Department of Transportation Services in Honolulu. And thank you, Mayor Rick, for giving us this proclamation. And we really want to remind the children and drivers to be safe and seen on Halloween. And we will be handing out these kids here today, these reflective white bags to keep their treats. This way they can be seen when they are in front of the headlights. And we're also handing out some activity books, including the Halloween book that we're handing out to all public elementary school students on the island, as well as a blinking light to help catch drivers' eyes while they're walking. And finally, and this one might not get used because try to get a kid to cover up their costume, but whenever possible, we have a reflective yellow neon vest for kids to wear, and we'll be handing this all out to the kids today. So I want to remind everyone that pedestrian safety is a two-way street, and that drivers have to watch out for pedestrians just as much as they have to be safe and seen. All right, thank you.